Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney, James the Fat Man Stevens, and the horse with no name, Brian Preston. So, was that a giggle?
Oh, yeah, it was a light chuckle.
He was convulsing and throwing up in his mouth.
So I guess I'll set the tone for the show. This is probably a really bad idea, but this made me laugh. So Maria Shriver.
She's not dead?
Fuck, here we go.
Yeah, I'm just going to go right into it because this made me laugh pretty good.
She was dead.
This was a Ben Shapiro tweet back to her. Her comment was, and this was about the Kavanaugh thing. She said, "Oh my God, this is every woman's nightmare. This is terrifying image."
Hold on, you might want to explain this for the listening audience.
What about Kavanaugh? Or what I'm about to read?
Yeah, about what you're talking about here.
We have
who
listeners?
might not be aware of.
So, if you're not aware, Kavanaugh, I don't know actually how to say his name, but he's a guy going for the Supreme Court. He's currently in a lifetime position in a lower court, and he's being accused of rape. And the only reason I'm bringing it up because this is
sexual assault.
I thought it was rape.
Yeah, it was sexual assault.
Sexual assault, and this was probably the coldest burn any sort of political level I've ever seen. I mean, well, you'll see, because it's actually about
you'll hear.
Yeah, you'll hear. It's actually about one of her relatives. And Ben Shapiro's comment, who's one of the more intelligent, conservative-leaning podcasters, hosts that you'll hear, his comment was, "Every woman's nightmare is being trapped in the back of a sinking car, gasping for air. I'd imagine. Did you ask your uncle about that?" Her uncle is Ted Kennedy. Look up Chappaquidda.
Yeah.
That is the best burn I've ever seen on anything regarding politics. I mean, am I wrong?
Really necessarily a burn if it's truth, I guess, you know.
Yeah, but I would have never thought of that just because that's really screwed up.
Well, yeah, it is really screwed up. I mean,
so it took a short Jewish lawyer just to say, "Fuck it." What? He's short, he's Jewish, and he's a lawyer, so he's actually a practicing Jew.
all right.
He wears the yarmulke.
You could wear a yarmulke.
I'd have to pin it down with my curly hair.
Well, that's why they actually come with little pins.
Oh, really? That I didn't know. I was thinking like one of those.
You really don't know that?
I was thinking.
How the hell did you not know that?
I don't know. I never thought about it because I was thinking, I'd have to use one of those big old hat pins from like the 18th century.
I mean, you're not as bad as our other co-host that goes to temple and steals them.
Look, they have them in a dispenser, okay?
Dude,
but they expect them back.
Oh wait, because I was.
They're Jewish. You think they're going to give something away for free?
I mean, it was like a
It's not like
piece
a
of
candy, candy thing.
See,
you don't just take a piece of candy and eat it.
See, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting they had them like a big stack. You put in like like your change and pearl the thing, and out drops a. Because I had no idea. I've never actually I've always wanted to go to.
You think they have yarmulke dispensers?
Yeah. What I mean, because when you told me the story originally, I'm like, oh, hey, cool, they have dispensers. I mean, I really don't know.
Well, they have dispensers basically for the non-Jews. They go in there to for temple for one reason or another. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own fucking yarmulke.
Hey,
usually they're a little nicer than the ones that come out of the dispenser. I've seen like leather ones embroidered with like Harley Davidson and shit. It's fucking hilarious.
That actually, wow, I'm kind of surprised by that. Actually, I don't know why. There's advertising.
Oh, dude, I've seen embroidery on all types of different yarmulkes. I mean, real nerdy shit, real specific things. I think I saw a Zelda Triforce on there once.
Really? I'm actually not surprised by that.
I'm kind of wondering if at some point you'll see a Hooters ad on one.
Or maybe.
See, I didn't actually. It's one of my goals in my life. At some point, next time I go to LA, is to go to temple.
Just to go to the synagogue.
I think it'd be cool to see in person and just actually sit down and talk to somebody.
Pretty cool. I mean, the ones in Beverly Hills are really nice. I mean, you can get some really nice.
I mean, if you really want the experience, you got to go to the Simon J. Wiesenthal museum.
Because I think that would be cool. Because when I went to France, I got to go to Notre Dame and some of the cathedrals and stuff in England, and And so it's just amazing. So I don't know. I think
For those of you unaware out there, by the way, the Simon J. Wiesenthal Museum is the Holocaust Museum here in Los Angeles.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Really?
I mean, I knew there was one, but I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, a.k.a. the Museum of Tolerance.
There is one in D.C. too, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
Is it DC or New York? I thought it
Is
was
it?
in New York.
Because I thought there was one in D.C. on the mall.
Oh, okay. I think I know. Yeah. I think there is one there too.
Because I'd also love to go to the Bible Museum, just because from what I've heard about it, looked interesting.
I want to go to the fucking Smithsonian. That's been a lifelong fucking. Well, I don't know about lifelong, but
I've been to the Air and Space Museum, and I went to the one that was at Old Glory and the Hope Diamond. I've been to that, like, partially in that one.
No kidding.
Yeah. Actually, if you guys like art, the one museum you guys got to go to is the Louvre in France. And make sure you have a fucking week, because spending a couple hours in there is not enough.
Yeah, that's the thing is that all these different places I've always wanted to go. I mean, I would definitely want to.
Hello?
What time? You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want to in the Louvre. Sit there and look at friggin' the Mona Lisa for 5 seconds and move along.
And in all honesty, the Mona Lisa is not that impressive, because coming from the United States, they show it all zoomed up and it looks huge in this amazing painting. It's the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah, no, it's not a big canvas.
And when I was there, it was behind like 4 feet of plexiglass. It says, "Do not take flash photography." There was a class full of young little Asian children taking photos of it.
And that's not even the real one, right? Is it?
I have no idea.
Probably not.
So I don't know, it didn't impress me. However, they have seen paintings the size of like a super stadium type of thing wall, and it's just this massive, huge painting with insane detail. You look at it and you can see almost see people's fingerprint. There's so much detail. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, art is. I'm more into. I don't know, like different places, like, just different places. I don't know. I love history. You know what I mean? Actually, what I fucking missed, and I'm pissed about it, is they had the Genghis Khan exhibit over here at the Ronald Reagan Library for a while. And they had it here for like 3 months, and I couldn't drag my ass out of my house to go fucking see it. But I don't know. I like the places that they were like, oh, this is where that happened. You know what I mean? Some place I've always wanted to go was Prague in the Czech Republic, because they have probably the most Gothic-style churches there than anywhere else in the world.
Well, because
it's like my favorite kind of architecture of all time.
Because that's when anytime there's anything like medieval or vampire related, it's always in Prague. Every time. Look at Blade. Half the movie, I swear to God, half the movie's there. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, well, shit. I mean, even just that Eastern Bloc in general is just has that real dark history to it, man.
There's some I know, because when I went to England, I went to England and Paris, and basically we were on a tour bus the whole time. So I saw every castle and cathedral between London and Paris. But there's some amazing things. There's a place called, I'm gonna butcher it. It's like Mont Saint Michel, and it's on this little jut of land. Like the lower parking lot actually floods at high tide, and it's wow. It looks like a castle. It looks like a storybook castle the way it is, and I think it was not a nunnery. It's what I forgot. What do you call it? You know what I'm talking about? It's a monastery, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. There's so many amazing things that they've done. Like, my wife spent some time in Italy, and they still use the Roman aqueducts for drinking water. I mean, that's what delivers a lot of these fountains in some of these cities is Roman architecture from like 1,000+ years ago.
Mont de
Marsan. That's fucking awesome.
However you say it.
That thing.
Well, it is me we're talking about, right? I do have that inability to enunciate anything correctly.
I guess it wouldn't be your show if you didn't screw something up.
Yeah, I said Kavanaugh correctly. That's the one that.
Yeah,
well, it's because
I mean, he's like, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Well, it's because he's been in the news for the last 3 weeks.
I remarked on it, like, that's the one he says right. And he's like, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but.
Well, come on. Anytime I've turned on the news to see what's happening in my local area, it's been, and Kavanaugh's, blah, 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 blah. It's like, off.
Yeah.
I haven't even listened to my favorite AM morning show because literally all they've been talking about is him. I'm tired of it.
I still think the whole thing's going to just be he said, she said. That's it. That's all you got. I mean, there's nothing there.
So,
I mean, even the FBI. I mean, why is the FBI investigating? That doesn't make sense.
Well, they can't try him with anything.
Yeah.
So my only question, and
whatever.
I've even asked some law enforcement people I know, after 35 years, it really does come down to he said, she said, unless somebody walked in on him and her passed out and the dude's kind of, you know.
I mean, like, were they snapping pictures of it? I mean, that's about what you got. I mean,
yeah,
documentation.
I mean, I'm not even sure how you even prove that one way or another. And let's skip that. We had a good conversation last week. Let's not add to it. Because I don't think we could actually add anything to that conversation.
Oh, I'm sure we could, but why? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I still know about as much then as I do now, which is just about nothing.
Let me put it this way. I don't think we could add anything healthy to that conversation. I literally think we've, at this point, talked to as much about it as we can.
I mean, I think everybody's talked about as much as they can. I mean, there's no new
and they're going to continue to ad nauseum.
Anyway, so they put out a movie on Netflix. I still like Netflix. These guys are idiots.
I watch Netflix.
Called, guess what? Guess what they did? They did Gantz, 5 years ago?
Okay.
Bleach.
There's a live action?
There's a live action Bleach show now.
Oh, yeah, I did see there was a live action
movie.
Bleach.
It's a movie. Now, I wanted to see, I just wanted to see how they dealt with the taking it from animation to live action, and I gotta say they actually did a decent job, surprisingly.
Did they do it better than the live action Rurouni Kenshin?
Yes, that's not that hard to do, actually. And I'm a big Rurouni Kenshin fan, but so they did Bleach. Now I was very curious how they would do the Zanpakutos, which I mean I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised, but they only did one transformation, and it was Renji. You know, the guy with the monkey. The final form is his monkey thing, but they only did the secondary.
See, I wanted the one that had that giant, massive knife thing that
he's
was
going to get there. Now, see, if you can look, that's the big sword from Rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So they only did maybe like the first half of the first season of Bleach. That's as far as they got. They didn't even get to Soul Society. They kind of showed a section of Soul Society, just kind of little background thing. I want to see them do more.
So the release...
I was kind of disappointed that they didn't really get into much. They even did, Uchi... The Quincy guy. I can't think of his name right now.
Because this was released in Japan on July 20th, 2018.
Yeah,
so it's
a couple months ago. But they just got put out through Netflix. But I really want them to keep going with it. Because, I mean, they could at least get a 5-part series out of it. I mean, how many episodes was it? Like 600? How many episodes was Bleach? Do you remember? It was something like that. 600 episodes. It was less than Naruto, if you count all the Narutos, but it was more than Rurouni Kenshin, so I know it was like...
hold on.
Something like that. I don't remember. Did you watch much of Bleach, Ryan?
No. No. No, I'm pretty sparse in the anime these days.
Basically Berserk and Hellsing?
I mean, more or less, save a couple of movies here and there and a couple other random, shows and stuff.
I think it's hard for him to be more of an 366.
Okay, 366.
A lot less than Naruto. Like I think it's hard for him to, watch more anime than I've seen in my lifetime. But
yeah, I know John wasn't as much into Bleach as I was. I really got into it.
I didn't like it. I never got into it. I was always a Naruto fan, but never really got into Bleach. There's parts I've actually watched certain fights.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of Bleach clips on YouTube, and I've watched some of the fights. Like there's an episode where he got the Hollow Mask. So I've watched one of the fights where he does a couple of transformations in that one.
He partially died in his soul. Anyway, there's a lot of different. I enjoyed it. I wish they would continue with it because I want to see them actually get into the transformations of the swords and things like that. That was pretty cool, but.
Depending on how it got its reception as Japan, it may do another one. They may not.
I don't know. I didn't see. I watched it today, and I didn't really do much research into it.
Yeah, I didn't really dig the Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, well, but the thing about the Rurouni Kenshin one is my favorite part of the actual. Well, it wasn't Samurai X. Samurai X was the OVAs. Anyway, they basically did with the Rurouni Kenshin live action. They basically did the OVAs for the. Oh,
they did the X.
Yeah, they basically did Samurai X, which is the OVAs of the actual anime, which isn't the whole thing. It's just basically like a summary of it.
It's the beginning, middle, and it's done really quickly.
But I really enjoyed watching in the actual Rurouni Kenshin ones where you like straight up smack somebody with a freaking backside of a samurai sword. That would literally give you a concussion or break your actual skull how hard he was hitting. And then when they did it in live action, you could tell that the sword wasn't real because it was like bending all wonky and stuff like that because he moves so fast, and that's why it wasn't really. It wasn't as good as the actual anime. Yeah,
I didn't get into the live action. I wasn't really sure why, but it didn't turn me on movie wise. Like I started watching it like 20 minutes later. I'm like, okay, this just isn't my thing. I wasn't really digging it.
Yeah,
which sucks because I like Rurouni Kenshin. I'm waiting for a live action Aurora Battle or Dunbine. Considering the first disc of the one I have is like 6.5 hours long.
Kevin Costner's working on that.
Any actor, yeah.
If anybody's going to take a movie and make it that long, Kevin Costner.
Him and Johnny Depp, because that's a pretty weird anime.
Oh, yeah. I don't see Johnny Depp and Kevin Costner getting on the same book at all.
I would watch a movie. I'd want behind the scenes, just because there's two guys that seem diametrically opposed. There's a guy that seems clean cut, American way, and Johnny Depp, who never said no to any substance.
It's like the emo guy of Hollywood, I guess.
Right, Ryan, are you there?
Yeah, he fell asleep.
Oh, okay, it was like
he's taking a nap
for the first time in however long we've been doing podcasts. He's quiet. It's like is something happening?
Nah, he's just watching porn.
Yeah, but
so you guys wanted to do a big anime discussion, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know any of these shows.
Well, I can keep going. Like one of the first anime I ever saw was Lensman's Secret of the Lens, which I guarantee I'm the only one in this room.
John knows.
I'm sure our audience is riveted.
Actually, Ryan, did you watch X with me back when we lived down there in Southern California?
X.
Yeah, there was just some weird anime OVA thing that I watched called X.
By the way, it has an amazing soundtrack.
And it was the first anime I actually had watched, other than little things way back when. But it was the first anime I ever watched that was like pure anime, and I watched it and I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then I come back up here and John's like, oh, have you watched this anime? I'm like, dude, fuck anime. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I watched this thing called X. And he's like, oh, hold on, you mean this thing? And he points at a box set. I'm like, no, it was like one movie. And he's like, no, I actually watched the thing. And I watched the first damn episode. And I'm like, wow, now I understand what the fuck was going on in this whole thing, because they didn't say nothing in the OVA.
Yeah, so literally they don't explain why they're fighting, why they're battling.
Who they are.
What they are, why are these mystical powers. And you literally watch the very first episode of the series, and it explains everything in like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and you're like
30 minutes. The movie's like 2.5 hours long.
And you literally at the end of watching the first episode, you're like, now I get the movie.
It's like, oh, this shit makes sense now.
And by the way, it's a series you never hear about anymore.
Yeah, it's not a bad actual series. It's not a bad series. It's just the OVA is actually. It's like watching the Hellsing revamp stuff, like whatever.
Oh, okay, so
what is that? Hellsing Plus,
Unlimited.
Unlimited, thank you.
So X the movie, 1996, fantasy/thriller. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It seems like a 3-hour movie
because 2.5 hour, 3 hour long.
Because you're literally through half the movie, and at that point, I've seen a ton of anime, and you're trying to guess what happens.
Yeah, you're literally like trying to figure out who the hell these people are, what the heck's going on. It's like, I'm just gonna start naming these people, and this is what their motives are, and they don't tell you anything.
It's hilarious because you watch it and you're like, dude, this makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie. If you really want something that's like super over dramatic, like it's the soundtrack to it. The opening theme of it is like one of my favorite orchestral soundtracks. But it had so much ridiculous drama to an already super dramatic cartoon. It's amazing.
It's like watching the last episode of Neon Genesis. If you just watch the last episode of Neon Genesis, you will literally go, what the fuck is going on? I mean, even if you've watched the whole thing of Neon Genesis and you get to there, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Well, you can understand it a little bit better.
No, I would say it's like watching a middle episode of Neon Genesis because you're not near the ending and you're not near the beginning and you have no idea what anything's happening.
Yeah, but I mean, at the ending, he's like sitting there at a tree like, I'm going to rewrite everything.
So what was that?
If there's anything to take away from this, it's that anime is weird.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But one of the reasons I fell in love with anime, though, is, besides the fact I really am, I'm an animation nut, always loved animation styles, why I own so much personally, is I love the story. Anime, for some reason, and maybe because it's originally a comic book, a lot of these are actually comic books or manga, is there's so much rich story. There's more stories in these. For a long time, they had more richer background and characters than in any like standard television show.
Well, I mean, if you're comparing it to kind of when anime, I guess, started in the underground here, which was the late 80s, early 90s, and, I mean, you had Dragon Ball, you had, can't I think of the car one right now? The Wachowski brothers did it. Why am I?
Speed Racer. Speed Racer was the 70s.
Well, that's what I mean. But that was introduced to a lot of Americans as anime at the time. But I mean, what did you really have to that America was putting out? You really didn't have much. I mean, you had G.I. Joe.
I think. Well, I mean, if you're comparing, I was comparing.
That's what I'm comparing it to.
Well, I'm comparing story to story, though. If you compare, say, a 25 episode anime story to 25 episodes of most American televisions at the time.
What, you mean like Seinfeld?
Anything.
There was a show about nothing.
Well, even it's jackass. But it's just story-wise, there was so much more content to draw from. One of the reasons, in theory, the Marvel movies should be amazing because there's so much backstory to draw from, but they just kind of be repetitive tentpole movies that are incredibly predictable and boring.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't like the Marvel movies now. Fuck off.
I actually never really liked any of them.
I liked the Iron Man movies. I got kind of burned out after the fourth, Avengers 26. Chris Evans apparently just signed off as Captain America after 8 years. They just finished wrapping principal production on the latest Avengers movie, which I might actually watch because I'm curious how it ends.
Yeah, I've been a fan of just about all of them.
One that I'm really a fan of is the Doctor Strange. They really did a fantastic job of it because, I mean, taking the Doctor Strange universe and the different dimensions that Doctor Strange passes through on a continuous basis is not an easy thing to do, and they did as far as I'm concerned, they did a fantastic job doing it.
I did wonder if they were.
Yeah, it was amazing, and you almost need that story just to continue on with like Infinity Wars.
Yeah,
and I am kind of curious if they'll ever get into the side effects of using magic. In the comic book, they talk about it. Yeah, how anytime you use magic, there's always
a cost.
Yeah, there's a cost. So, in one scene of one of the comic books, Doctor Strange is eating all this nasty-looking food, and it's like the only thing he can eat type of thing. And somebody says anytime another mage says anytime I use magic, I have to kill a bunch of sheep type of thing.
Well, the one that I would like them to redo, but I think they should just leave it as an animation style that they've done is Constantine. I like Constantine. I just don't like the one that they came out with, 10 years ago?
The Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves one. The character was so wrong.
It's the concept that they went with wasn't terrible for a Constantine story. I think the way that they went about
I don't even think
filming it.
I don't think
was a bad choice,
and I don't think even Keanu Reeves, in my opinion, is the last of the issues with the movie.
That's what I mean too.
Because he doesn't look anything like Constantine's supposed to.
No, he doesn't. But I think his personality kind of fit the character.
I love the TV show guy.
Direction and the filming. I think the filming of it was terrible.
The guy who played Constantine on the TV show, I really liked. I hated the TV show, but I really liked him. I thought he was spot on. I thought his accent, the snark level, I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, but that's another one. Like, I mean, as far as like, it's kind of like the Doctor Strange thing is he's dealing with different, more of like a spiritual basis, but still it's like different dimensions being pulled from.
See, my only thing is, I think in order to do it right, I think that it's a weather warning. Right. I think the only way to do Constantine is make it really dark, and I don't think they could do it for general audiences.
Well, they did. I mean,
because that was the one with Keanu Reeves.
Well, you have to make it dark, but you have to make him British and sarcastic.
Yeah, but the one with Keanu Reeves was pretty violent. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
They've done Deadpool, so if they do it to lat level, I mean, not like Deadpool, but hold it to the standard Deadpool has, they could do it if they were willing to. But I agree. It has to be a British guy. And by the way, the backstory
and sarcastic, and you have to throw in the House of Mystery and all the other shit. I want to see Detective fucking Chimp. Okay.
I love go to YouTube, type in Constantine backstory. His backstory, it's a pretty interesting backstory about his because they talk about his family history and his character, and it's pretty cool. I think that story, just like Doctor Strange, is really rich for another reboot.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was looking forward to. I don't know if they did more than one season or if there actually was a different one. But did you guys ever watch Legion?
Oh yes, I did.
I heard of it.
I did watch Legion. There is supposed to be another season. I haven't looked it up though. Legion is really cool.
But I like the character, and I like the way they were pulling it off in the show. It was getting fucking dope by the end of that first season.
Oh, dude, I was all excited for it. I mean, I was pissed that there wasn't more already.
Right.
But yeah, Legion is a really cool one if you guys haven't checked it out. And they did they're doing another one too. I can't remember the name. It's like, it's like oh God, I'm trying to remember the name of it. You know, there's another one, right, Ryan? It's not Legion, but it's like the same universe, and it's like.
Was this like? Does this
The Gifted? I think the name is The Gifted.
Is this like after the Legion movie, type of thing?
No. This is like it takes place in the Marvel universe.
Because I know of the TV series, but never watched it.
Who's pulling them out, Ryan? I can't. In Legion, who's recruiting them? It's not God, I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about.
Shit, I don't know who you're talking about because I'm kind of barely remembering any faces in that show.
Hang on, I'll put up.
Okay,
Yeah, it's The Gifted is another one that's the Marvel universe. It's a bunch of basically, mutants type thing. Hold on, I'm pulling up Legion because.
So according to this, that one's on FX, right? The Legion show.
Yes, I believe so.
So here's the description from, was it IMDb? That's a Google. See, David Haller is a troubled young man who was diagnosed with schizophrenia as a child, suffered from one psychiatric institution to the next in his early 30s. David met and fell in love with a beautiful but troubled fellow patient named Sid. After starting the encounter with her, he was forced to confront the shocking possibilities that the voices he hears and the visions he sees may actually be real. Dun dun dun, and shenanigans.
Yeah. Now I don't remember who's actually
in the TV show.
There's a specific group that is pulling him, that is trying to manipulate him, control him, type thing, and because his powers are basically on par with Professor X.
So he's a mutant.
Yes, he is a mutant, and he's a very strong telepathic abilities.
So the first season, Haller is saved by a group of mutants at a facility called Summerland.
Yeah.
Who explain that he is a mutant. Haller eventually discovers that his mind is infected by a parasitic mutant. Shadow King. And
That's right. Yeah, it's the Shadow King. Thank you.
And is able to force the villain from his mind. In the second season, Haller returns after a year spent trapped in a mysterious orb. And his absent Summerland allies have joined forces with Division 3 to stop somebody's plan to find his real body. Okay.
But yeah, the Shadow King is who I was trying to think of.
So
and it wasn't. I was trying
isn't
to think
Shadow
of,
King somebody Xavier battles?
Okay. That is who Xavier has a real battle with,
and locks him in away from his body.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what's going on. It's a, and if you guys don't know much about the Shadow King, he is a mutant that is very powerful in the. I can't. Telepathic abilities and
there's only 2 seasons. There's only 2 seasons and it's 19 episodes. Holy crap!
Really good though.
It's really short.
It is, but it's really good, and that's what I was trying to think of. For some reason, I'm thinking it was the Diamond chick, whatever her name is. I can't think of it.
So on The Gifted.
Yeah, it's another expanded Marvel Universe type thing.
So number of seasons, 15 episodes. Stan Lee's the executive producer on this, but at this point it's probably name only.
Yeah.
2 ordinary parents take their family on the run from the government when they discover their child has mutant abilities and joins an underground community of mutants who have to fight and survive. At the end of the first season, several members of the underground leave to join the inner circle. So is this the... God, what is the cartoon? They have a name for it. The mutants that never leave. Like they live in like a sewer system. I don't remember their name.
God. Can't think of their name either. I don't think it's them. I don't think that one's them. Ryan, you know what he's talking about. The one that Storm battled and basically took over. She became like the leader of them.
That's it. Yeah.
Ryan? Horbag?
I don't remember that either.
Does it start with a W?
God, it's been such a long time since I've...
It's not Warg. It's like Warg...
There's a ton of producers on the show. I mean, it looks interesting. This is great air. A bunch of people trying to figure out what something was called.
Yeah.
The
This
Morlock.
is good pod right
That's
here.
it. The Morlocks. So,
Yeah, the Morlocks.
Is it them?
I don't think it's them. I mean, I haven't watched it. I just knew about it. I haven't actually had time to sit down and watch the Gifted yet.
It says Underground, which is the first thing I thought was if there's Morlock, because that would be badass. Because it would be the first live action appearance of them that I remember. They may have been on the original trilogy of X-Men, just not talked about.
Yeah.
Like what's her name? God, who's the chick who was the star from the cartoon? It was all about her. So the mutant in the 90s cartoon, kind of useless powers.
Are you talking about
Jubilee?
Jubilee?
Yeah. Because she was.
She always got the shit end of the stick. Here, look at Sparkles.
Because she was actually in the original trilogy in one of the episodes, first or second one, but it was kind of passed
she was
by.
a student.
Yeah,
she was a student at Xavier's school, but yeah, she only had like barely even a line. I don't think she even had a line, just a word or something. They just basically said, "Oh, Jubilee," and she looks up, and that's it.
So, Legend, David Charles Haller is a fictional superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. He is the mutant son of Professor Charles Xavier and Gabriella Haller. Interesting. I might, if I ever get time, which is not going to happen soon, I might have to check it out.
Yeah, it's actually a really good show. I actually enjoyed that show. So.
It looks interesting.
I would say this, and I think Ryan would concur. Legion, a couple episodes, it's boring.
So is it
sure?
Huh? There's a couple.
Yeah, no,
episodes.
you're absolutely right. Yeah, but
it's backstory.
It pays off, man.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, so it's a slow burn.
There's like maybe 2 or 3 episodes that are really slow.
Set complicated things up, you know.
So is it the first couple episodes?
Well, what it's setting you up for when they do the slow episodes are the amount of brainwashing they put into him. That's basically what is going on in the basically the whole entire ward that he's in, is they're basically trying to brainwash him and get him to be their little puppet, basically. So there's a few episodes where he's sitting there trying to figure out what's real and what's not, and I mean, if you're filming that's going to be kind of a boring show.
So in the first,
that's what there's
I guess
about 3 episodes.
My question
like
is,
that.
Does the first episode grab you? Because that's always been a thing for me.
For me, it did. Now, I
Yeah,
can't see
and you know what,
everybody.
for me as well, because I still think it was good storytelling, because at the very least you're intrigued enough to be like, what's going on here? What's
Yeah.
what's all this about?
Yeah,
You
but-
know, and it keeps your attention enough, and then you kind of follow this guy's psychosis in the
Yeah.
first handful of episodes.
Yeah, and it gets really in depth, and that's what I mean. It's like it's great storytelling, but for somebody who's more into like the fast paced type thing, you're not going to be as intrigued as you would hope to be. But as Ryan said, I mean, it really does pay off if you just kind of hang in there. But I remember there was a couple episodes I'm like sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, I just finished this one. Do I even want to bother with the next one? I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll go. I'll give it a go. But yeah, it's worth it at the end.
I'll have to add it to the bunch of stuff that I want to watch at some
Yeah,
point.
I have not watched it, The Gifted, but I am intrigued enough. But for me, it's one of those that it's more of like a more network type of thing. And some of the more network ones, they do shit over the top. It doesn't really grab me as much as something that's had more effort put into it. I mean, writing style wise.
Yeah, well, yeah, more love put into it,
Yeah.
less cookie cutter, less like, hey, we know this will make money because this is hot right now,
Yeah, exactly.
But FX to me doesn't seem to do the sin of the alphabet networks, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm intrigued enough, but how much publicity has been put into The Gifted versus how much publicity is put into Legion? It
So it could
seems
either-
more like there's CW money thrown at it to me.
Well, the
I
question,
mean,
it could be like the Chronicles of Reddit. Excuse me, Riddick. Well, they threw a
there's
bunch.
Chronicles of Reddit?
That is, if you pay attention.
I mean,
well,
there
the
probably
Chronicles
is.
of Riddick. There's the second Riddick movie. If you pay attention to it, it's one of the. It's not as good as the first one because they threw so much money at it that it almost lost some of its
For
flavor.
the record, you do not have to pay attention to that movie to realize it's not as good as the fucking first one.
Well, I know, but if I'm just adding because I even think the second one wasn't as good. But if you pay attention to it, it went from a very low budget movie that had really great story, an interesting character, and then they just threw a shit ton of money on it, a quasi good story, and I just don't think it was good. So it's kind of always been my example of too much money's a bad thing because then you have to have a reason. Then you have to have a reason to want that movie that much money in your next movie as a director. So you have to do, okay, let's do this and do this, because if you don't use it all, the Hollywood's going to be like, well, I don't need to give you this much money this time.
Yeah.
When you may actually need
basically,
it.
yeah.
It's like the bureaucracy of government, too.
Yeah. Because even the third one to me wasn't as good. I mean, I really didn't like Dave Bautista in that one. It's some of the last part of the movie sucked.
Yeah, but
But that wasn't Dave Bautista's fault. That was the writing in this movie.
when they kind of when they have to release like an animation in between movies
Yeah.
to try to explain what's going on, which they actually did with the
But that was
Chronicles of Riddick,
That was
if you
years
actually pay
before.
attention.
That was years before, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they kind of did the same thing with the Matrix and the Animatrix. They threw little stories in between, and for me, that's like one of those things where it's like, oh, we didn't make enough money. Let's just give these animators a little bit and see if we can make some more.
When did I don't remember when the Animatrix came out. Did it come? I thought it came out after the C thing was over.
It did.
So
but it was trying to get you to go out and spend more money to get more of the Matrix stuff. And I mean, I watched them both, and it's just
I have it somewhere.
I have it too somewhere. I just don't care, and I even have the cartoon Riddick thing in between somewhere too. It wasn't that great.
I'm more interested in the story the cartoon Riddick told. I would have loved to seen a live action version of that.
I have them somewhere, but no.
Yeah. I don't know. I only like the first Matrix, and even then, I haven't watched it since it came out, so I'm not quite sure how well it's aged.
Those second and third one are better than you remember.
They
I
actually,
highly doubt
you know
that.
what? I actually like the second one more than I like the third one or the first one, because in my book, that's where they use more of. That's kind of where Neo's getting more familiar with what his powers can do and things like that. And then also you get introduced to other characters that can manipulate the Matrix more. To me, that's the one that I enjoy the most.
Here's the thing: is that aside from some of the janky fucking graphics they had, especially in the third one when they had just a straight up CGI fight,
that was horrible.
the story that they told was fucking amazing.
I will give you that. That was a great story.
I guess at some point I'm going to have to sit down and watch him again. I'm going to be
Yeah,
80.
and you really have to take it as like, oh, this was the prototype for every Marvel movie that's being made right now. Like,
Basically,
this is
yeah.
the real early days of what they were trying to do.
See, the weirdest thing is I've always tried to view movies of, as the product of their time. But
Well,
I'm also,
remember, Matrix invented fucking bullet time.
yeah, I mean, the Wachowskis were,
How many movies have ripped off that little move?
hell,
Wanted.
how many video games?
Right, yeah.
Max Payne being the first one I remember. The movie sucked, though, unfortunately. So, I don't know. I'll have to watch The Matrix over again.
Yeah, just give it another shot.
I don't know.
You will.
I'm so busy at this point in my life. I don't know if I'm ever going to get a chance to, because even watching certain movies takes me like 4 days to a week to watch, just because how busy and tired I am.
Yeah.
Hell, this takes me a day to edit and put up the show, just because how chaotic my life is. I edit it, leave it alone, upload it, leave it alone, publish it, leave it alone. It's an all day process. Just having a toddler is a blast, though. God.
More fun than editing videos? I doubt it.
Well, considering how many of the see, I'm really happy, Ryan, that you're not physically in most of these, and I'd have to look at you for like 600 episodes.
Just put him in as a monkey.
Man, I'm trying to think of what interesting stuff to talk about, but there's so much shit in the news that's talking about the Supreme Court, and there's talk about rape, and it's
That's
like,
the big no. That's the big push.
I've been trying really hard to block it all out, because there's only
You're not
so
gonna
much.
be able to. That's all there is now.
Well, the problem is it's the cable
put
news
social
thing.
media down.
All they're talking about is the same things over and over again. It's like, okay, tell me when you guys get something new to talk about, or like something
Tom
new in the
Arnold
story.
is doing a documentary trying to chase down Trump's racist comments. There you go.
I heard about that. It's Tom
I
Arnold.
find out yesterday that Sam Rockwell was in Teenage Mutant
There you
Ninja
go.
Turtles from
There's
1990.
As what?
He was the smoking kid.
That's hilarious. Oh, I saw.
Yeah, do you remember that movie, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
John's
saw-
watched
well.
it more than both of us combined.
I saw both of them in the theaters.
Okay, so do you remember when that one head thug kid was leading him through the Foot Clan hideout, and he asked him for cigarettes, and he's like, regular or menthol?
Yes.
That's fucking Sam Rockwell.
Oh shit.
I wouldn't have known that if he hadn't told me. I mean, I could even watch the movie and I would be like, all right.
So
Yeah, I
They
happened
won't
to be
do that
watching
now.
Galaxy Quest last night, which is a fucking great movie, by the way.
so
And it was just kind of scrolling through IMDb, looking at the cast credits and stuff, and scrolled through
Sam
Rockwell's early stuff, and I'm like, Ninja Turtles, what the fuck? And then I had to go find a screenshot of it, and I'm like, no fucking way.
So for the first time in my life, I kind of want to see a movie where a guy talks to a fish.
You know, I actually
And
saw the trailer yesterday.
And I'm not talking about the incredible Mr. Limpet.
But I mean,
That was going to be my suggestion.
Because it
Jesus.
looks...
He likes that movie.
I actually own that movie. But I'm a
I
Don
love
Knotts.
that fucking movie.
I like Don Knotts. And if you don't like Don Knotts, you can suck it.
I like Don Knotts, but I don't like that movie.
I love that movie. It's better than the Apple Dumpling Gang.
I don't like that movie.
You know what I
either.
got my girlfriend to watch the other day was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Really?
Oh, that movie drags.
Oh, fuck you. That movie's awesome.
Well, don't get me wrong. I don't disagree, because I completely love the aesthetic of the movie. It's just there's some slow parts in the movie.
So beautiful.
I mean, did
It's
you make her
just
watch
one of the
Goonies
most
next
fucking
too?
gorgeous movies.
So have you seen the trailer?
Goonies does not hold up.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Aquaman movie,
I have. I want to see it.
Ryan?
I saw a screenshot, but no, I didn't see the trailer.
Check out the trailer.
Considering you're the fanboy, I want to know what you think.
Yeah, but I'm also the fanboy that tries to avoid trailers. But I'll watch it. I'm
that's
not
true.
precious about fucking Aquaman.
Actually, I agree, man. I just.
I was really hoping you were going to die on that sword. I'm not watching it. It's going to
No,
be a
fuck
great
that.
movie.
No, Star Wars, I really tried to hold out for Justice League, and I did, although I don't know if I would have been more or less disappointed having watched all the shit beforehand. I probably would have been more hyped up and therefore more disappointed.
You know what I think would have happened is you would have saw it and you'd be like, it looks like a crappy movie, but I still want to see it, and you would have enjoyed it, knowing the fact it was going to be a bad movie.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I know I'm right.
Yeah, you're probably fucking right.
Because looking at the trailer, you're like, oh my god.
Well, I mean, I see. The thing is I loved all the visuals. You know, it was just kind of Justice League. They were trying to pay off what they did with Wonder Woman and Batman versus Superman. So I get why they went the direction they did with the story. You know what I mean? It was really my distaste of Batman versus Superman that colored my distaste for Justice League.
I actually thought for the Justice League movie, because I haven't seen the whole thing, I've seen half of it.
I liked it.
I actually thought what they should have done for the whole DC thing, I think they needed a couple of more movies. I think they should have introduced Cyborg with his own standalone movie, because then I think at least you would have a little bit more information, a little bit more wanting, because I agree with Ryan. Superman versus Batman really tainted me on it, because it's a fucking Batman that kills. That alone pissed me off enough.
Yeah.
So I think they should have done a couple of more movies, because Cyborg to me is the most interesting character that you don't really get to see. He's always been a throwaway character, almost always an ancillary character. I wanted a standalone movie, because he was.
Well, maybe he'll get his own thing if they do like a Teen Titans, you know.
I wouldn't mind seeing Raven.
Aren't they doing a Teen Titans?
I know, right?
They are.
Is it a live action or cartoon? I know they're doing one.
It's going to be live action.
Because
I mean, they have to do
kind of this kind of shit.
But they have to explain the difference between Tim Drake and Dick Grayson.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Because I mean, Dick Grayson is
a lot
not
of like animated movies. The animated movies are straight to DVD kind of shit.
True.
Know?
But they do. But the animated movies.
Speaking of straight to DVD animated shit, did you guys happen to see? I don't know if you guys pay attention to the DC animated universe like I do with all the movies that they've been coming out with. They just recently did Superman Doomsday.
Yes, I haven't seen it yet.
3 months ago it came out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Dope.
Is it?
They just did the Death of Superman too.
Yeah. I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the one they did with Wonder Woman is still probably my favorite. I mean,
oh yeah, that was one of the best. God, it was so good.
I have never seen that many decapitations in any.
See, I would say
any film.
I would say even the Wonder Woman live action movie was amazing compared to the other ones.
I love the fucking Wonder Woman movie. It was great.
Because I wonder if they're gonna do any more, because you can't compete with the Marvel movies. It was really late, and they screwed up I don't care about Superman, but you screwed up the Batman character. And Ben Affleck basically, whether it was his health problems or whatever, because he just got out of rehab, he dropped out. So and they stopped doing the Dark Universe because how bad the Mummy movie did. It's fucking Tom Cruise. You bastards always think Tom Cruise is going to make the movie sell. It's not.
But I hate to say this. But it does. And Ryan, I think we already covered this, but the Batman one wasn't Ben Affleck's fault.
No.
Nope.
No.
I hate to say that too.
I know, because I was so used to giving him shit for everything.
I know,
but you know what? Other than because he did movies like Geely and fucking Paycheck, and it's like, dude, are you really just gonna do movies the rest of your life just to get money and that's it? Like fuck craft and fuck the art.
Yeah,
like, come on.
He did do that one right before he did Batman. I can't think of the name of it, but it was a really good one. See,
but the problem is with the Lord of the Rings movie, I came in that thinking with Elijah Woods that the motherfucker who made North is gonna be, a Hobbit, and then I came into that movie expecting to hate it, and it was like, wow.
Oh, Gone Girl.
I don't hate this
Gone
movie.
Girl. Yeah.
That was a fantastic film. And even Argo. I'll give you Argo and Gone Girl.
Yeah, Argo was fucking dope. That was a good movie. fucking Town, dude. Have you guys seen The Town?
Oh, The Town is pretty good. It's not one of my favorites. It's
The
more,
Town was just a damn cool heist movie.
It
is what
was.
it was.
I remember James really panning that movie in one of the Real Flicks Reviews arguments.
Yeah, I mean,
you gave him a lot of shit for liking that movie.
Yeah, but if
I mean,
you
on a lot of shit.
if you take all of Ben Affleck's
That's an enjoyable
career,
flick.
that's what I'm comparing it to. All of Ben Affleck's career wasn't his worst choice.
Yeah, see, but I came in.
But Argo and Gone Girl, I will tell you people to go watch.
I came in expecting to hate Ben
Yeah.
Affleck. I didn't hate him really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like Elijah Woods and like Everything Is Illuminated. You talk about The Hobbit. You expect to hate him, and you see it, and you're like, you know, the guy can act when he's not being fucking North, and the kid from Flipper, and he can actually act when he gets the right role.
Hey, North was the shit.
You're the only one. I've never.
Come on,
you're-
Bruce Willis, dude.
I'm still thinking like I mean I'd rather go with The Good Son.
Bruce
Yeah.
Willis played like 9 different characters in that movie.
So he did it before Eddie Murphy. Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Ben Affleck. I think the issue with that is I think Ben Affleck could have done a good role if they made it really like the what is it? It's
Nolan?
no, it's the Batman comic book where Batman's really old. He's going against Superman.
I can't think.
If they made it similar to that style Batman, I think he could have done a good job because that's what his suit looked like.
That's
But
true.
the writing was bad. The bad guy, the main character, was lame, and the Batman versus Superman fight was incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, talk about
I don't know.
Superman.
Well, you know what? It's fucked up because I've seen it better. You know what I mean? Dark Knight Returns was
Oh, hell
just
yeah.
like oh, okay, well, this was obviously the definitive story on this, and I get that you took different elements from different stories, and a lot of it was taken from Dark Knight Returns, but when I have even just like the animated version to compare it to, is like, okay, well, I'd just rather watch that.
So I think what they need to do is what they did with Star Trek. They need to let it. They just need to do 5 years with no Batman thing, and then reboot it and do a decent job. Because every time they do,
won't do that.
every time you do a reboot, now I'm always comparing it to Nolan's, which is the most grounded Batman movie ever, or to Michael Keaton's, which has that really amazing gothic feel. I mean, I don't think it aged as well.
You mean the Tim Burton?
Yeah, the Tim Burton, the one with Michael Keaton's Batman. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to give Tim Burton credit on that. I mean,
Oh,
he's
no.
the one that took Batman and turned him dark.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love them. I love the feel of the movie.
And, I would like to point out that he's the one that took Batman and turned him dark with a comedian. Michael Keaton
Yeah.
was not doing dramas before that shit.
I understand that, but what I'm giving Burton credit on is that he took Batman from Bat Pap Zap to a darker version that was closer to what the comic books were.
But so basically, he made Batman Tim Burton because he had that.
Yeah.
He
But
had that aesthetic
I mean,
already.
that's what he did, and then you had all these kids that were like, I don't want this comedic
Yeah.
Batman anymore. I don't want the Adam West, which, don't get me wrong, Adam West is Adam West and
Rest in
blah blah
peace.
whatever.
Legend.
But
Yep.
you went from that to the Batman the Animated Series, which is like the pinnacle. Every fan of Batman is a fan of the Batman Animated Series. Mm-hmm. I mean, basically.
No, I agree. I think that the problem with Batman versus Superman is it was somewhere in between the Christopher Nolan and the Tim Burton, and it was a mashup that just didn't mix. Yeah. At least not to me. I mean, because there were parts where the Batman's like, oh, I love this scene, like the scene where they were together rescuing, was it Superman's mom or whatnot? And the Batman versus Superman, they were rescuing somebody from a warehouse.
I have pushed that out of my brain.
They were rescuing somebody from the warehouse. That to me was the best scene in the movie. But it just, I don't know. It was just a bad movie.
I don't know. I think I agree with you that they just need to stop. I mean, it's basically like what they did with the Hulk. I mean, how many films came out in like a short span of time just trying to revamp the Hulk story?
The problem, what they need to learn is a standalone Hulk movie. Just unless you're doing Planet,
I mean, you almost killed Connolly's career.
Unless you do a
You
Planet,
basically did.
No, that dude killed his own career.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the chick, Jennifer Connelly.
Oh,
Whatever it is. Wait, what am I drinking?
See, the problem is the Hulk is just not a movie that sells. They've done a bunch of them. I mean, the problem is that they just need to realize, okay, he's going to be...
Connolly, the 2003 one with freaking, what's his name?
Was it Eric Bana?
Yeah, but it also had Tim Roth as the bad guy.
Yeah, that's the issue is the fact that Hulk, unless you're doing Planet Hulk, I don't think you could have the Hulk sell a movie, support a movie on its own.
I forgot Sam Elliott's in that one.
What do you think, Ryan?
No, they tried too many times. We've all been burned. There's no way they're going to redo that. Not for a long time.
Would you be good with like a Planet Hulk where it's not, it's not on Earth? I don't know if you've seen the cartoon Planet Hulk. I think they could do that.
No, because I think the best they can possibly do is what they already did with Thor Ragnarok, and they just made it like a buddy comedy with Thor and Hulk. That was perfect.
That one.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I want them to do one where they fight, where his family starts fighting Wolverine. That would be a fun one. But I think
they already did that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give me Old Man Logan.
The actual Old Man Logan.
But I'm just saying, like,
Old Man Logan. Yeah,
they can't. You got to let him retire. You got to let Logan retire.
You really got to let him go. Let him rest.
I mean, by the way, it's been done.
Logan now Wolverine came back in the comics, and now his claws are heated.
I didn't need to know that.
I just saw a YouTube clip of it. I'm gonna have to watch it again because I was laughing. It's like, now eat Julienne's fries. It's like an infomercial. You have ice cream you can't get out of the container. Ching ching. Wolverine can help.
You killed him.
Well, on that note, gentlemen, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get the girlfriend staring at me. I wanted to eat dinner.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Jonathan, Johnny, James, Stephen, Ryan, and Preston, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.